Mention Freemasons to most people, and you are bound to hear exotic stories of secret practices and rituals. So, responding to their recent claims of openness, we asked if we might be able to attend one of their annual major functions known as a communication.
Brethren, the Grand Master of Masons in the state of New York, grand honors.
This event we've had is our annual communication, which is the 213th year in a row that we've done this. The heads of the various lodges throughout the state, of which we have 711 lodges, come here to vote on constitutional changes and election of officers. New York has 94,000 members. We are a big jurisdiction, with number 7 in the United States.
At this event, Gary Arthur Henningsen was re-elected Grand Master of the Masons in New York State. While most of the meetings and rituals were private, his installation was a ceremony that was open to the public.
I hail, salute, and proclaim you Grand Master of Masons of the state of New York.
To become a full-fledged member in Freemasonry, you go through 3 degrees. If you are unhappy going through the degrees, you may leave at any point. This is all done of your own free will and accord. We force no one to go through the degrees.
Grand Lodge of New Jersey, the most grateful Francis R. Mitchell, immediate past Grand Master.
If you're a Mason, your brother. If you're a master of a lodge, the chief executive officer of a lodge, you're called the Worshipful Master, which is an Old English title.
Robert Singer is the Grand Secretary. His title is Most Worshipful, since he has served as Grand Master in the past.
Our wives keep us humble. Take the garbage out, you know. No, we're normal people like everybody else. But in the fraternity, we have the rank, just like being a colonel in the Army or a general in the Army.
In order to become a Mason, you have to be 21 years of age, a male, and someone decent, a decent person, and that's the only requirement. And you have to believe in God, or Supreme Being. That's one of the requirements.
Brethren and guests, our first duty is to God. The Grand Chaplain will offer the invocation.
G stands for God. It also stands for geometry. You know, we're not a religion. We don't worship at the altar, but we put the embodiment of the sacred law on the altar or pedestal, and we take our oaths on that. In most of the Western world, it's the Holy Bible. In Hindu countries, it can be their volume. It can be the Koran in Muslim countries.
Promising to Grand Lodge and to him. Promising to Grand Lodge and to him.
They claim to have no racial barriers. The membership does, however, remain closed to women, but there are auxiliary groups available to them.
The order of the Honored Lady.
A friend of sanctuary, a friend of the smile.
I don't think we'll ever open to women. There's nothing wrong with women, and we don't discriminate, but a male organization for 600 years, and everything about it is geared to the man, it would make it uncomfortable.
Their roster is filled with famous names. The Masons are prohibited from discussing business or religion during their meetings. Historically, they were reputed to be anti-monarchist and anti-papist. George Washington himself was a Mason for 46 years, and there have been 13 other presidents who were Masons.
The apron covered the man who was building Gothic cathedrals and with stones and mortar and so on. He wore plain white aprons, fancy aprons, all kinds of regalia that have gold on them and silver and so on. But usually they symbolize the rank or the organization in Masonry that the person is a member of.
The honor of the craft is in your keeping.
All of the tools, the symbolic tools, the trowel, the spreading the cement of love, the square and compasses, the trowel, the maul, and so on. We know them as operative Masons use them, and we use them for teaching morality and lessons of life.
Duly elected and installed in their respective stations and places and in ample form.
We recall our history back to the cathedral building in Europe. The different guilds were formed. It was almost like unions of today. They had different insignias and wore different aprons and different passwords. And that's where Freemasonry began. And I believe they kept this a closed, thing to build these buildings, and through the secret hand grips and the various modes of recognition, this is how they did it. That's the only secret I know about it.
We're not a secret organization. We are an organization that has some private ceremonies. And you can find all of those private ceremonies and all of the so-called secrets in any good public library in the world.
Their tradition of secrecy has made it hard for them to recruit. National membership has declined from 4.1 million in 1959 to 2.4 million today, with an average age of 60. All of this has forced them to reach out and advertise for new members.
Traditionally, and some of this goes back into antiquity, we don't know why, you didn't ask somebody to join, they were supposed to ask you. Of course, if you didn't publicize that you were a Mason, how would they find out who you were?
I want to see a Freemasonry that's out in the community, that's trying to make a difference.
We have as our main charity our Amaranth Diabetes Foundation.
Every Masonic organization has a charity. I believe the exact figure that Masons give every day in this country to charity is about $1.5 million. And I know there are sometimes people look at us that we're very secret. We're not. I've been a Mason almost 35 years. I've never seen anything terrible in it. My father was a Mason. My grandfather was a Mason. I have 3 sons that are Masons. And we're just trying to make this place a better world.
35 Supreme Court justices and 15 vice presidents have all been Freemasons. But that's not all. 9 signers of the Declaration of Independence were also Masons.